Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us today for our next taster session from Hertfordshire Business School. This session is going to be a little bit about insights into the school. There might be some financial things as well involved in there for you, but I'll let my colleague introduce that shortly. But just before we start the session, I will take you through some of the buttons that you can use to interact with us panelists today. So you should see on screen, you do have a chat button. Do feel free to use the chat as much as you want to. You can use it to chat to each other, say hello. We might also ask you to put some answers in the chat during the session as well. Do just be mindful that this session is open, so don't put any of your personal details in there. If you do have questions throughout the session, please feel free to put them into the Q&A box. We will be typing some answers as we go, and after the presentation, we'll also go to live Q&A. So put as many questions as you've got into that Q&A box as well. And the session is recorded, nothing to worry about, so you might see that pop up as well on your screen. But what we'll do now, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm going to pass to my colleague to introduce the session for us.
Thank you, Kat. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us here today. I know we have a few participants, a few attendees, and we're expecting a bit more. So as Kat has said, I am from the business school. I'll introduce myself to you. I will tell you a little bit about how we do things at the business school. And if you want a finance flavor to, or a finance focus to some of the delivery we have at school, I'm also happy to provide that. So I know we're expecting a few more to join us, but I will start with a bit of an introduction about myself. So, as I said, I'm from the Hertfordshire Business School. We refer to that as HBS. So if you hear me saying HBS, I'm just used to saying that. I mean the Hertfordshire Business School, which is one of the schools at the University of Hertfordshire. My understanding is that you're all interested in business side of postgraduate studies. So this is the focus I have for my presentation today. So, my name is Gaida Naures. I am a senior lecturer in finance and economics. So I sit in the Department of Economics within the Hertfordshire Business School, and my main areas of research and teaching is based in finance, financial studies, international business, and economics. As well as teaching duties, I am also the deputy program leader for the MBA, which is one of the largest programs we have at HBS. So my educational background is a PhD in financial analysis, as well as MSc in international business. I'm also a fellow of Higher Education Academy, which is a highly recognized academy for higher education in the UK. I have a lot of experience in designing curriculum, designing programs, designing modules and assessments. I am particularly passionate about embedding emerging technologies and AI tools into teaching and assessments. I'll tell you some examples of my assessment and teaching when we get to the financy bit of today's workshop. My research focus for those interested in maybe research-led routes is financial markets, particularly in China or other emerging economies. So that's a bit about me. Let me now learn more about you guys. I'm interested in meeting you, knowing those who are with us in the call. Would you mind using this QR code if you're on a phone? if you can scan it, or if you type in your browser menti.com and put in the code you see here, 3163 5705. I can see 3 have already joined us, 4. So once you join, please, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, starting with which country you are from? I was hoping that you'd be able to post, the country name and the flag, but I am not sure that the flag would actually show. But let's try it out. Let's test it. Okay, so we're starting to get some responses here. We have Sri Lanka. That's interesting. There was a Sri Lankan celebration on campus. Um, 2 days ago, actually. I was on campus, and I think there was a start of New Year celebration, or sorry, correct me if I'm getting this wrong, or is it a religious celebration? But it was a student-led event, and they were playing lots of games, and they were all dressed up in beautiful colors of their traditional outfit. So yeah, that was very nice to see. We have some participants from India, some participants from Nigeria. It's a shame we can't see the flags. We have participants from Iran. That's good to see. That's a very nice diversity. India, again, very nice group of um, no, different regions, different countries. That's very interesting to see.
We've had someone put in the chat as well, so they might be struggling to get on the Menti, but they've also put they're from Nigeria. So yeah, thank you for using the chat if you can't get on the Menti as well, everyone. If you're watching on your phone, if you've got problems
Yeah,
using it.
yeah, excellent. Yeah, that's really good. That's a very nice diversity. We do have on MBA, as I said, I'm in the program leadership team. We have quite a few students from Iran, India, Nigeria, and Sri Lanka. So yeah, these are um, very interesting, diverse mix of students. Okay, so that's really good to see. So let me now ask you a bit more about your interests in um, studying business. So if I go on to the next question, what when you think of studying business, what excites you most? What comes to mind? Why do you want to study business? Someone has typed in money. I like that. That's that is right in my field of finance. What else excites you when you think about, what you want to study for your postgraduate, um, different areas of business you might be interested in? Power or own brands? Okay. Is that market power? Is that um, market share? Or is that power as in decision making, managerial roles? Maybe you can type in, I think you can type in more than one answer. So feel free to type in whatever comes to mind. Um,
Some
and
people have added in the chat as well, transactions and independence.
okay, transactions, that's trying to work out whether it's financial transactions, as in financial markets, or transaction. I'm not able to see the chat fully, but okay, there's career. Okay, career aspects. You'd like a, you think studying business can enhance your career prospects, maybe. Problem solving. I really like that you've put a skill here. Problem solving is a skill, and it is taught in business. Um, I see brand as well. So that is telling me maybe marketing, advertising, brand images, talent. Okay. Business shows talent. Yeah. There's a lot of innovation and talent in different aspects of business. That's very interesting to see. Strategic leadership. I agree with you. A lot of business is about leadership and about strategy as well. So that's, we also have leadership here. Investment and finance, that's my area of expertise. Tell you more about examples of the things I teach when I teach investment, finance, risk management. So excellent. What about um, what about entrepreneurship? Is anyone here interested in opening your own business, becoming entrepreneurs? Is that an aspect in business that interests you? Is this a word you would like seeing pop in the screen?
Someone's put in the chat, yes.
Yes.
So yeah, we've got a few yeses.
Okay, so entrepreneurship, enterprise. Okay, what about the people aspect of business? People management, HR, is that an area that interests you? Is there a new word? Career, money, entrepreneurship, yeah. Okay, excellent. I'm really happy that you've listed quite a few business-related aspects. There's human resource there. Excellent. So, what I would show you today is how we teach some of these aspects, or pretty much all of these different areas of businesses that you have mentioned here. I'll show you, we'll play a quick game at the start, and then in the game, please feel free to switch on the mic or use the chat before I take you to the from game to business. Okay, so a quick game. Please use the chat or turn on your mic to answer. Very simple one, really. It's a brand challenge game. I have two brands for you, and I want to see how quickly you can guess the name of the brand. Starting with this one. Are you able to guess what this brand is?
Adidas.
Adidas. Okay, well done, Balaji. And that's correct, Adidas. You managed to guess it without even the name of the company written there. Okay. Next, what is this brand?
Nike.
Nike. Okay, excellent. Yeah, that was my game, really. You were able to guess the names of these companies from just saying this little symbol. Okay, a tick or three stripes. Okay, and this is really what excites me in business. The fact that companies can achieve this level of success globally, because we've seen that we all come from different countries. I'm currently in the UK. You are from different countries, Sri Lanka, Nigeria, India, Iran, and other countries. And these two little symbols were recognizable by pretty much all of us and millions of other peoples around the globe. And this is what interests me really in business, because when I see now we have the whole World Cup atmosphere going on. We, in my family, we're into football, and we're looking at what brands the teams are wearing and who are the sponsoring companies of the different World Cup teams. And when I'm looking at those different brands, I'm thinking businesses, the business idea behind that, the brilliant business mind behind it. So I wanted to take you from this quick game, this quick concept of guessing the brands, to really thinking of the business behind them. So, what makes these brands successful? What do you think made brands like Adidas, Nike successful so that we all managed to recognize them? Do you like to suggest something?
The first suggestion is advertisement.
Advertising, okay, good branding, good advertising. That's
Consistency in your quality.
quality of their work, quality of their products.
Which they're wearing.
Yeah, consistency in your quality.
Yeah, what else?
We've had 2 answers in the chat as well. Customer service, a few people have put, and promotions.
Promotions, customer service. Okay, interesting. So from these two companies, these two companies, which one do you think has a higher recognition globally?
The Nike.
Nike, Adidas, maybe it varies from maybe which country you're from, maybe some is more visible in some countries, or maybe it's the brand you use, so you think it's more recognized globally. Which of these two do you think has a higher market share?
Nike.
Nike, yeah, I think that's actually correct. And what do you think is driving the performance of these businesses? If you want to summarize it in one word, maybe use the chat. One word, tell us, what do you think drives? Design? Okay. Anything else, Kat, from the chat?
Someone's put quality niche.
The quality of the brand.
Sports person association.
Association with sports people, sponsorship, branding, quality. Excellent. Okay, well done. So basically, these are all different areas within a business. Quality is about more the manufacturing side of things. Branding is the marketing, advertising side of things. The global reach, again, marketing campaigns. And there's also the image or strategic decisions behind those businesses. Kat, is it possible to mute?
Yes, I'll just, if everybody wants to just mute themselves when you're not talking, just so we don't get any feedback, that'll be perfect. That's perfect. Thank you, everyone.
Excellent. So what we're trying to get to here is really taking you from brands, thinking of businesses in general, to thinking of the different smaller aspects or departments in a business that makes companies successful, like the 2 examples we have seen. Because business is not just one subject. As you've seen when you've written your answers of what excites you in business, you've all had different areas: brands, money, people management. So I wanted to show you really how different aspects of business are covered within different business subject areas, and how we teach that at the Hertfordshire Business School, and then from there tell you more about our school. So if you are interested in the strategy aspect of things, strategic decision making, you could be doing an example or a case study on Nike and Adidas, because strategy is about how a company chooses to compete and win in global market, which is what we've seen exactly in these 2 examples, how 2 companies are competing globally with brand image and market share. And when you think about how these companies are doing, and many, many others, think of the different strategic choices that led these companies to where they are. Nike didn't just become number 1 by chance. It's made a series of consistent strategic decisions about how they want to position themselves, their brands, the expansion plans and strategies they've considered to get them to where they are today. So strategic decision making matters in global businesses and in global brands. And if you're interested in leadership, as some of you have mentioned, or you're interested in big decision making, then you would be studying strategy programs, looking at market positioning decisions, gaining competitive advantage, growing your business with growth strategies. So in strategy aspect of business, In programs we have at the business school, like MBA, MSc International Business, or MSc Management, these programs have more of a strategic decision-making aspects or modules in them, which covers case studies similar to looking at Nike and Adidas strategies, comparing the two companies, looking at the different decisions they've made throughout the years, and learning from those experiences. Another aspect that is absolutely relevant in business is marketing. So if you are interested in the marketing side of business, you would know maybe that marketing is not just about advertising. It's not just about the ads that we see, but it's about how these companies shape how the customers think and feel. Lots of you said quality, lots of you said image. So we're linking these businesses like Nike and Adidas with performance, and we're linking them with athletes. What are athletes wearing? Which brands do they wear? Is it more Nike? How does that make us feel or think as customers? Do we want to be like athletes, so we wear the same brands? My son absolutely feels that way. He wants to wear the same brand as his favorite athlete or footballer. So really what we're saying is that Nike, for example, doesn't just sell shoes. It sells the identity and the performance of the people wearing those shoes. And this is what customers are buying into. And this is what you study in a marketing case study on these two companies. You'd be looking at the brand strategy. What do these companies want to associate themselves with in terms of branding, the consumer perception, the different digital campaigns that they have run, especially on social media campaigns. So if this is an area that interests you, as we've seen from some of the answers, then areas like branding, social media, global campaigns, which company would have more global image or more visible globally, then these are skills that you would cover in programs such as MSc Digital Marketing, for example, that we have, or MBA with digital marketing. I'll tell you a bit more about these programs later on for those interested, but these are some examples of what you'd cover for marketing side of business. And some of you also mentioned finance. And this is now my area. This is where my passion is. Finance. If you were sitting in my classroom studying finance, then we would be looking at one example or one case study similar to this in one of our 10 weeks of study. Each week we would be looking at different aspects of finance, but looking at the Nike Adidas case study, we could be looking at understanding the financial decisions made by these companies and how these decisions translate into their performances. So we'll be looking at revenue versus profit. These are two different things. Maybe you don't know that because you haven't been in a class with me yet, but revenue is not the same as profit. We would be learning the differences between these two. We would be looking at the financial statements of Nike and Adidas and looking at comparing their revenues over different time periods or different years, their profits, and how the different decisions they have made affected their profits and margins, market shares. We would be looking at how these companies manage their costs. We do cover some very interesting examples about Nike specifically, with where they have moved the manufacturing aspect of the business so that they can reduce costs and increase their profit margins. We would be looking at pricing decisions made by different companies. We would also, especially pricing decisions with the view of inflation and increasing costs of production, increasing cost of transportation and global production, disruptions in global supply chains. We would also be looking at share price movements and focus on investors. In fact, just last week, we finished an assessment in a module. I teach one module called Risk Management and Investment. And in that module, one of the assessments students submitted last week was an investment report targeted at an investor with certain risk tolerance and risk profile and certain objectives with regards to returns. And the students were asked to use AI tools to generate an investor report with a detailed data analysis to create a portfolio of investments or stocks that would give the potential investor the best return for the lowest level of risk that they can take. So in that example, I was supporting the students in downloading long data sets of market share prices and share price returns over a period of 5 years on a monthly basis, learning how to analyze those share price returns. We looked at how to calculate actual returns, comparing them with expected returns from these companies, linking that with the level of risks that these companies bear by, of course, analyzing different risk measures such as beta, movements of share prices, financial risks of these companies, liquidity risks, different aspects that make up the final decision of should we invest in these companies or not, and what would be the most optimal portfolio of investment for our clients. So this kind of assessment had the report as a part of it and a large Excel sheet as part of the marked submission. In class, we were working week by week on building on that Excel sheet using the different formulas and functions in Excel, and side by side using AI tools to help students further improve the quality of the work they were doing. So that was one example of an assessment I had in my finance module last week. And it includes one of the points we have here, which is share price analysis and looking at investor feedback or what investors are looking for. These types of, or this aspect of business is covered in programs like MSc Finance and International Finance and Investment Banking. This is one program that I teach on. It sits under the economics department, and I supervise master's dissertations for students on this program, doing different research on different aspects of finance and banking, really. We also have MBA FinTech, which is relevant here because in FinTech, we teach more on financial decisions in terms of financial services and the creation of different apps that include financial decisions in them and the inclusion of financial technologies within businesses. Okay, so if you're interested in finance business, I'll allow some time by the end of the session to answer any questions you may have, and we can come back to this slide. But these are examples of the different aspects of finance we cover in the business school. Okay, couple more examples I'll show you of what different aspects of businesses include. Data analytics. It was interesting to see that none of you mentioned data or data analysis in the chat. Maybe you're afraid of numbers, but then again, You said you like finance or you're interested in financial studies. So numbers should be your best friend. But lots of students we have are interested in data analytics because that's a big part of business. Modern business decisions are really driven by data, not just intuition, not just the intuition of the manager at that time in the business, but really more on the data and what story that data tells us about the best decision to make in a certain time. Data could come from sales, it could come from customer, and also market trends. There are so many different data sets that can be used in a business to make decisions. And if you're interested or if you enjoy working with data, you would know that companies like Nike, they use data really to make decisions about how to price their marketing campaign, even when they are designing, even when they're making designs, they would use data to work out which design was more popular, which design or color was less popular. And all that data analysis forms their final strategic decision. Okay, so if you're interested in data, problem solving, which was one of the skills you mentioned, especially complex problems with large data sets, business analytics in what we're living through, which is a fast-growing area of business, then you may be interested in programs like MBA with data analytics or MSc project management. We also have a recently introduced program in the business school, which is MRES, Masters of Research in Artificial Intelligence in Business, which is very interesting program that embeds, of course, data analysis into business decisions. Okay. And if you're not into the money side of things or the branding side of things or strategic decisions, then as some of you mentioned earlier when we asked the question, people management, the human resource side of business. Because ultimately, whatever strategy is made, whatever design companies choose, these are designed by people and executed by people. Even the customers themselves are people. So in HR aspect of business in this area, we recognize that behind every successful company, it's the people making the decisions, the teams, the leaders of those teams that are driving innovation. So in HR case study on Adidas and Nike, you would be looking at leadership decisions, understanding teams, how they perform, behaviors in organizations, and one very important aspect, which is organizational culture. Organizational culture is an important aspect of business because we see lots of research showing that large mergers and acquisitions, when they take place in businesses, if they succeed because they managed to merge the organizational cultures of the two merging businesses. And if they fail, it's often because of differences in organizational culture. And this is a major part of HR. If this area interests you, if you're interested in leadership, motivation, or managing people, then there's a focus on these areas in programs like human resource management. And in MBA, we also have MBA human resources. Okay, so I think I've covered different areas of businesses and different aspects covered by different programs. And I just wanted to show you an example of what we teach and some of the case studies that you would look at to compare different business decisions, to understand business decisions around branding, finance, strategy, people management, and how all of that affects global business performance. Okay, so at Hertfordshire Business School, you would be choosing from different aspects of business. And if you're looking at a more generic program like MBA or international business, then those generic programs have modules within those different aspects of business. So you would learn about marketing, people management, entrepreneurship, finance in different generic areas, or you can find a specified master's or a degree in a certain area that you're interested in. So to tell you a bit more about HBS, our mission is really to transfer learners into confident, skilled professionals, because skill is a major thing in global business. And you have identified a few skills like innovation, leadership, problem solving in your answers earlier today. With HBS, I'll just proudly share with you a few statistics. We have been shortlisted for Best Business School in the UK 2 years running, and we are in the top 25% nationally for business and management studies research impact. The work we do is highly recognized, and our teaching style and pedagogies include interactive sessions. We don't have exams in our postgraduate programs. We have more interactive learning experiences, student group work. Students, as you've seen in the Nike and Adidas example, you would be engaging in real data, debating different strategies of real companies, trading off or understanding the trade-off decisions of different strategies. You would be developing critical skills because your focus at postgraduate level is really decision-making under uncertainty, in global environments, building data literacy, understanding data analysis for critical decision-making. And we have practical and experiential learning focus through, I'll tell you one example of our practical focus, especially with enterprise and starting your own business. We have, show you that in a minute. Experiential learning example. These are some snapshots or pictures we've taken in the MBA program. You can see me here and across other programs with a practical element or aspect of our program called Young Enterprise. With Young Enterprise, we have that embedded in one or two of our modules where students are engaged in an entrepreneurship program. Students are setting up their own companies in groups. You set up your company from scratch, you establish your company, you develop the brand, you develop the prototype of that company, you compete with other students in the program in your module. Students that win within the program then go to compete nationally with other UK universities doing the same Young Enterprise program. And winners at the national level in the UK then go and compete internationally with universities from around the globe. And I'm proud to say we've always had winners. You can see some pictures here of our winners. There's a lot more really that I couldn't fit all in my slides. Some of our winners winning national competitions for businesses they have created. We run this event twice a year, and every time we have 2 or 3 winners going to the national competitions and some of them international competitions as well. Those students that develop business ideas sometimes also get a chance to win funding. This student here with the Flair competition, she created a docu app to help students study, organize their studies. So it's document uploading in an app that then generates study plans for students. It was a brilliant business idea, and she actually won funding from the school to further develop the app and take it to the next level. So these are some examples of the enterprise aspects of things we do in business school. Let me take you back to my slides. Okay. Examples of the different programs we have at HBS for postgrad. I've shared some of these, but you can find the longer list on our website. But what I want to show you really is in most of our programs, there are different pathways, like the examples I shared with the MBA. There is an MBA General. This is one example. It applies to other programs like Finance and Investment Banking or MSc Management or MSc International Business. Different programs have different pathways. Some pathways are with research, like MBA with Advanced Projects. Some pathways are with placements, like MBA with Extended Professional Practice or MSc International Business or MSc Management also have placements opportunities in them. Or you could be interested in a generic program that has more focus on a certain pathway. So you get a bit of generic business studies combined with pathway-specific areas that you would like to focus more on. We have some very popular programs. For example, MBA Healthcare is quite popular, MBA Project Management, and as well as the other list of programs. I didn't manage to list them all here, but they have different durations. Some are 1-year programs, some are 2 years, some are 18 months. So you can look at the website if you're interested in learning more about these different programs. Some of our programs have professional accreditations from different bodies at undergraduate and also some of our postgraduate programs. If you're into business areas, you may recognize some of these accreditations already, like ACCA or Small Business Charter. We also, this is a picture of our Enterprise Hub building. This is a building we have in the campus, the de Havilland campus where the business school is based. The Enterprise Hub is dedicated as a business incubation facility. So this is where we bring in other businesses in the area and we work with them collaboratively to either get case studies to give our students or to have opportunities for our students to work within programs in those businesses. Okay, so it's a brilliant way to create opportunities for businesses and students to get together and work. You can work on startup businesses or work as graduate entrepreneurs. And this is the building where this magic happens. It also has a very nice cafe there. So if you join UH, you'd be familiar with the coffee in that building. We do align our programs with industry trends. We're always getting consultations with industry experts to learn more from them, what they want our graduates to have in terms of skills or study focus, and that informs the curriculum we design across our programs. These are examples of some of the businesses we've collaborated with over recent years. If you're into football, you may recognize the Watford Football Club that UH sponsors, as well as other businesses that we usually collaborate with. And as part of the curriculum, we have across all programs, regular guest speaker sessions. This is when we bring in guests from different industries. So last month, we had an economist from HSBC who came and presented to our MSc Finance and International Business students, FIB. finance and international banking students. So it was a guest speaker from HSBC who was telling our students all about the market trends. At the time, it was a bit more focused on the oil price changes due to the geopolitical issues happening in around the world. So this is an example of the guest speaker sessions we have. It's brilliant networking opportunity for students interested in looking for graduate jobs, further developing your LinkedIn profiles, and getting to learn more about leadership and management in practice. Okay, I showed you this already. Couple more things to also say about what we offer at HBS. It's academic focus. We designed the curriculum with focus on some students need English for business focus, so we teach them academic skills as a side support session that goes alongside their studies, as well as library skills and digital skills. These are all embedded within the curriculum, and it is part of the program design. So it will be part of your weekly session, weekly support session that you would have with your program leader. And we do have a brilliant career and employment support team, which supports students for up to 3 years after graduation, support our students to find, to apply for their dream jobs, to work out what they want to do, what skills they need to develop, look at students' CVs, maybe support students with skills on how to perform well on interviews, support students on placements. We have a few programs that offer placements, which means as part of your studies, you go away for 1 year and work at a company in certain university-approved roles. And then during your placement, you would create what we call a placement portfolio. After that, you come back to finish your last bit of studies and graduate. So the career and employment team supports program leaders and students to achieve those placements-based careers. So they will support you in how to apply, what businesses to apply for. They will support you in improving your CV, and they have a whole skills module that you would be studying alongside your program to further develop and enhance your employability. Okay. I thought it would be a good idea to share with you some alumni stories. These are some of our master's students or graduates. There's a long list. It's a very long page of alumni success stories. Feel free to scan the QR code and read more about what these alumni studied and what they then did later on. Like we have here 2 examples of students that went on to found or establish very successful businesses. So you can scan this QR code or look at the website for more stories. It will tell you a bit more about, the different program of study and the areas that our alumni went on to develop. And finally, as I started with learning more about where you guys are from, which countries you are from, we very proudly celebrate a global community at HBS. The picture you see here on the right is what we call the street. As you walk down this, entering the Haviland campus, you would find your country's flag, lots of beautiful flags hanging from the very high roof. And it's a very popular picture destination for our students, I must say. So we celebrate a global community, typically with programs. There are regular cultural celebrations. These are some examples of pictures I've taken as part of the MBA regular festivals or recent celebrations, but there's a lot more that happen for different cultural events. So yeah, we do celebrate diversity and different cultures. And that's my big part. Thank you for listening so patiently. Sorry if I talk too fast or a lot. I'm happy to stop sharing now and take questions.
Well, that was perfect. Thank you so much. I feel like everybody's learned a lot. There's lots of I can see people saying thank you in the chat as well. So yeah, thank you for sharing those insights. We did have one question come in. Now, I'm not aware of this, so I don't know if it's something you would be aware of, or it might just be something we need a bit more information on. But somebody said they're planning to do MSc Business Analytics and Consultancy. They know it's a one-year program, but they've heard that next year onwards, so 2027 onwards, a 2-year version of the course might be coming out. Is that correct? I've not heard anything about this. As far as I'm aware, there's only the 1-year option, but I don't know if you've heard anything in the school.
I haven't heard about this particular program, but it doesn't mean that it is not happening. It's a very big school with so many different programs, and we're always validating new programs or new pathways with 1 year and 2 years. I think the best place to check would be the postgraduate courses website at UH, because that would show what's being offered. If you're saying it's something you heard would come across or would be developed for next year or the year after, then it could be. To be honest, I'm not sure, but do check the UH courses website. That would have more up-to-date information.
Thank you. And I did notice as well, they did ask about internships. So yes, there is a scheme at Hertfordshire, Hertfordshire internships. It's available to our postgraduate students at the minute. If you do want to take out an internship, you can find more details on our website. You can do that alongside your course. It's voluntary. And I think they're usually about 8 weeks, but do double check that on the page. You should be getting an email about those soon as well if you've paid your deposits, so that we can start prepping you for next steps and what's available as part of your program.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd also just add, maybe sometimes students confuse placements as well, which is similar but different to that. So with placements, some of the programs, as I mentioned as part of my presentation, some of the programs have a placement route, like MBA with extended professional practice. So sometimes you can find programs with placement routes that allow you to do part of your study, then go away for up to 30 or 36 weeks of full-time paid work, and then come back to finish the last bit of your study. And this would typically be a 2-year degree with a placement embedded in it. So maybe that could be relevant to the question.
Yeah, good point. Thank you very much. I've had somebody else come through. So they are from computer science undergraduate background, planning to do a business course. They just want to know MSc Business Analytics and Consultancy. Would you recommend that as a good choice for them, or any other routes that they should be looking at if they've got a computer science background?
Yeah, absolutely. We have, that's a good program to consider. If you also want a bit more business aspect or generic business aspect to add to your degree, then you can also consider MBA in data analytics, because that combines kind of generic business where you would learn a bit about people management, marketing, finance, strategy, and you'd have more focus on data analytics, which is linked to your background. So you can find 2 or 3 different programs that link with that focus. Yeah.
Excellent, thank you. I think we've actually answered all the questions that have come through then. I know we're almost at the end of the hour, everybody. But yeah, I can see lots of people saying thank you so much for the session. They've really enjoyed it. Very insightful. So yeah, wherever you've been watching us from in the world, thank you so much. Oh, one more question's come through in the chat just before we leave.
Yeah.
So for those taking a 1-year course, would there be placement opportunities?
Typically, the 1-year courses are teaching focused. Because placement opportunities, the placement in itself is up to 30 or 36 weeks. So it's a full year on its own. So it wouldn't be part of a 1-year program. Typically, programs with placements are under 2-year routes or 2-year pathways.
Yeah, so double check that you are on the right course for you. And a thank you from the student for answering that question as well. Okay, we're at the end of the hour, everybody. If you do think of any other questions, though, when you're reflecting back on the session, do feel free. You can email us at international@hearts.ac.uk, and either our customer service or our admissions team will be able to get back to you with any questions as well. If you do have any urgent questions about your application, you're not sure what to do next, what your outstanding conditions are, you can give us a call. But at this point in the year, email is fine. You've still got plenty of time. Just be checking on what you still need to send in. Have you paid your deposit? Do you need to have an interview? You can start preparing for that as well. But we hope that you enjoyed the session, and we look forward to welcoming you to Hearts in September. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you for being such brilliant audience, and thank you, Kat, for organizing this session for us as well. I look forward to seeing you all soon on campus.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Goodbye.
Bye.